Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can install the new DayZ-Expansion Mod to your Nitrado PC private server. DayZ-Expansion is an exciting addition, not an official one from Bohemia Interactive, but it's made by a team of fantastic programmers that brings us helicopters, different vehicles, different buildings, a different quality of life improvements to the game that I know I and many other DayZ players are really looking forward to having a go with. Now, I'm no expert PC modder, so as you're watching this, if you are, you'll probably be thinking, wait a minute, there's an easier way to do that, there's a better way to do that, but this is kind of what works for me, and this is going to be quite a long video, because I'm going to try and go through quite a few of the steps you have to do. Some of the things I'm just going to put links to other instructions down below as well. There's a couple of core concepts we need to understand though before we get started, and that is that before we get started on DayZ-Expansion, we need to make sure that we've got the community online tools and the community framework mods installed and working on our DayZ Nitrado private server first. That's critical. Don't try and do them all at the same time, because something will probably go wrong and you won't be able to track it. Plus, installing the community online tools is a little bit long-winded as well. And you have to follow the instructions fairly carefully. The other things you want to do before you get started, I would suggest that you do a clean reinstall. Wipe the progress on your server. I know it's gonna, it's gonna destroy people's bases and everything like that, but that way you're gonna get rid of all those old XML files. You're gonna get rid of all that old loot. You're gonna be starting afresh. And then the other thing I think you have to do this on Nitrado. You want to turn your server into expert mode. Now, what expert mode does, it removes some of the simpler settings from the general settings display here. So normally here, what you can probably see now is it will say something like server name, and it will say password, and it will say admin password, and it will say crosshair on and off, third person mode on and off, that sort of stuff. So go to expert mode, and then once your server has reinstalled and you've stopped it, all you do then is just go to your file browser and then DayZ standalone, and then if you go scroll down to a file called serverdz.cfg, this is the config file for your server, and this has got all the settings that were in the general settings when we weren't in expert mode. So there you can see, so at the top there's your host name, so you can change that. There's the password, don't worry, I'll be changing that, and the password admin, I'll be changing that after I've recorded this video. Then as you scroll down, you'll see things like turn on and off third person view, turn on and off crosshair. So you can go through and you can carefully change all those settings, and you can then save the changes. We will be coming back to this file later on, but that's that bit done. And remember, keep your server stopped all the way through this. So let's now then go back to the dashboard. So what you want to do in Steam then is we want to subscribe to the DayZ Community Online Tools mod. So subscribe to that, and then you want to subscribe to the DayZ Community Framework mod as well. Subscribe to that, and then what will happen is your Steam client will then download these to your local computer. So now we've then got to get these files up into the web onto our Nitrado server. So you're going to need a file transfer protocol program, an FTP program. So I've chosen to use FileZilla. It was probably because it was the first one I came across and it seems to work. So download that, and then you need to fire it up, and you'll see something like this, and you'll see server, and you'll see connect, and then to get all the settings to connect your FTP to your Nitrado server, if you just go to the first page and then go to dashboard and scroll down to the bottom, you've got all your details. There's all your FTP details there, and there's your IP details there. You put them into FileZilla, you connect, and then what you'll see here over here on the right hand side is you'll see the details for your server appear, which is really cool. So while this has been happening, you'll probably find that Steam will have downloaded the CF and the community online tools. So what you want to then do is fire up your DayZ launcher, click on the mod section, and this will include any mods that you've downloaded, and then over here on the right, click on the little arrow next to CF or Community Online Tools, click on these three little dots and open folder in Windows Explorer, and it'll say, look, you really want to do this because you can break your game by doing this. You say, yeah, don't worry, I'm cool. So it'll then open up the folder where these are all hiding, all these mods, and all you do is you can just right click, copy the sort of location where they are, go into FileZilla, paste that location, and I'm already there, but it takes you to the place where all your mods are. So you see them, CF and Community Online Tools. And we put all of these in the root directory, which is this one here. So all you do is you just make sure you click DayZ Standalone, click back on CF or Community Online Tools, right click it, upload, and then right click the other one, upload, and it will then copy them all over here. Nice and easy. Now once they're copied over here, what you've then got to do is follow the instructions on the Community Online Tools Steam page, and again I'll copy and paste this over there. The first thing you have to do is you've got to sort of authorize the mod, and this always goes for all mods, kind of work like this, by copying the keys across. So it's dead easy. You just go into your file browser, find the CF. You'll see a section that says keys. There's the key. So you download that key by pressing the download button. Store it somewhere safe. Go back to the root folder, DayZ Standalone. Find the keys folder, which should be there. And then you click upload file, upload that key to that folder. And it's the same for Community Framework and the Community Online Tools. And they sit there, and that's kind of authorizing the mod to work. But we're not there yet. Not by a long chalk. So then what you need to do is you then need to follow these instructions, and they revolve around making folders on your Nitrado private server. And it's fairly easy to do because you've probably done this already, but you go into your file browser and you'll go into your config folder, sorry, and then it asks you to make, for example, a permissions framework folder. And to make new folder, just hit new directory, and then when you need to make new files, you take create new file. Now the bit that's confusing after you've done all this, so you do all this, the bit that's confusing is this bit here. So inside the permissions framework players folder, create a .json file. So that's just a file that ends .json, named your SteamI64 ID. What they mean is that the name of the file, this might be obvious to some people, but it wasn't to me, is your SteamID .json. So like these, okay? It's going to look something like that. Now, if you're not sure how to find your SteamID, I'll put a link with an article that shows you how to do it. Now, once you've created that file, so you just create new file, paste your SteamID, add .json at the end. Once you've created it, click on it, and that'll take you into it. And then as per the instructions, which is on that link, you then copy what it says there into the file, like that. Right, let's come out of that. Now, once you've done that, what you then want to do is go back to your dashboard, so settings, general, and then down the bottom, we need to activate the Community Online Tools and the CF. So you just put @ Community Online Tools, semicolon, @ CF. And again, this is in the instructions down here. See, just there. And then you save. At this point, you then go into your mods and you put a tick next to CF and Community Online Tools. Then you can go to your server browser, find your server, and you can join it. And once you're in, and you're there, you're standing on Churnerus, then you quit and you come out of it, because we need to add another file. And again, this is all in the instructions. And the other file is your, I think, do they call it your GUID? And what it's going to be is it's going to be a file name which is your GUID.json. Okay, that's what it is. So it's fairly complicated. The way that you find your GUID, though, as it says in the instructions, you go to your log files and you just look through your log file for where you logged in, and you'll see something that says GUID. So there it is. So that gives you your GUID. So you copy that, then you would go back to your permissions framework players and you create a new file, paste the GUID in, add .json on the end, go in, edit it, add that there, save that, and then what that's giving you is it's giving you admin privileges in terms of using the community online tool. So when you've done that, restart your server, log in again, and then you can just check to see whether the community online tools are working or not. And the easiest way to do that is, well, the game will work. You'll log into it, and if you go into the options to have a look at the key bindings, you'll see the key bindings for the community online tools. Also, if you go into your server browser as well, because it normally looks something like that, if you click on it and click on more details, it'll tell you what mods are installed correctly on your server, and you're looking for community framework and community online tools to be installed correctly. If they are and they've worked, fantastic. If they're not, go back and go through some of these steps again, especially the instructions for installing the community online tools, because they are a bit long-winded, but just make sure you've done everything correctly. Now, with community online tools working and with the community framework working, we can then get to the fun bit, which is installing DayZ-Expansion. So you go back into Steam and you subscribe to DayZ-Expansion, click on DayZ-Expansion license, and you subscribe to them. They will then download to your PC. Go back to FileZilla and you'll see these will have then appeared here. And all you do is just make sure you click on DayZ standalone, right click there, upload, then right click expansion licensed, upload. These take a bit longer because there's a lot more to these files, that they're a lot bigger. Now once they've uploaded, you need to go through that key process again, which, if you remember, is going into your file browser, you'll see DayZ-Expansion will have appeared. So you go into there, you go into the keys folder, you download DayZ-Expansion.bykey, then you go back to the root, go back to the main keys folder for the whole of DayZ, and then you would click upload that file there. So that's done that kind of that check between the DayZ upload and DayZ itself. So yeah, it's okay kind of to use that, but we're not there yet. So now go back to FileZilla, and what we want to do now is over here in our folder, our DayZ standalone folder, you want to go down, you want to look for missions. There it is. And if you open up missions, actually, you can see you've got, it will say DayZ offline Chernarus Plus and DayZ offline Enoch. That's what probably say. So keep it with blue on MP missions. Then over on the left hand side, go down to here. So we want to look at DayZ-Expansion. Click the plus. See it says missions there. Click the plus. And see it says expansion.Chernarus Plus. So we would right click that. So that's the one we're interested in. So make sure you've clicked MP missions. Come back here and right click that and say upload. That will then copy. It's not too big, this. That will then copy all of that over into your missions folder. So in effect, now on your server, your DayZ server, up at Nitrado, you've got Enoch, which is Livonia. You've got offline Chernarus Plus, which is the standard Chernarus map, and you've got expansion.churnerous plus. Now the other one, churnerous plus gloom, has certain graphical improvements as well, so you may want to have a go at that. But again, when you want to do something like this, just make sure that you just read the instructions at the bottom of the DayZ expansion page on Steam, and it tells you the instructions on how to do that. Okay, so we're kind of into the last few bits now. So let's have a look. So they've all now copied over there into the folder, but now we need to tell our version of DayZ to use DayZ offline, to use expansion.churnerous plus as the mission it should access, instead of the regular DayZ offline.churnerous plus. So I think you can probably, can we copy that? Copy URL. In fact, we could probably just copy that there, expansion.churnerous plus. That's all we need. So we just can copy that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our file browser. We're going to go back to the root directory, and we're going to go to that file we changed to start off with, the server.dz.config. So if we click on that, if we scroll down, here we go, class missions. So it says template. Now my one's already been done, expansion.churnerous plus. So that's where you would then paste that, and then you would save that. So in effect, what we've told our version of DayZ is when you start, don't go to the regular missions folder, go to the expansion.churnerous plus folder and start working from there onwards. Right, so you would save that, and then what we then do is just come down here. So now we need to actually turn on these files. So we're going to do that from the general settings. So you click on general settings and we scroll down to the bottom. So we've got community online tools working, we've got so the community framework working. So the ones we want to add now are at DayZ-expansion semicolon and at DayZ-expansion licensed, and then we want to save that. Once you've done that, click restart server, and then you're pretty much good to go. That should be it now. So what you would then do is you go into your DayZ launcher. If you go into mods, you want to load everything up. So community framework, community online tools, DayZ expansion license, and DayZ expansion, and then you'll be able to go into your server and you'll be able to join that server. And when you spawn in, it's going to spawn in, and I think you have a couple of tins of food on you. You have a stone. You have a few. I think you have a backpack on as well, which is pretty cool. And that's it. You're ready to go. You're ready to go and find those helicopters and those other vehicles. Now, I'm going to do a video about modding this mod, modding the XML files, because obviously you can download the XML files, but to give you a taste of what it is, if you download the XML files, for example, if you look at the events file and look at the UH1 helicopter, there should be 2 of those that spawn in on the map at any one time. But if you look at the spawn points for the events, you'll see that I think they've got 3 possible spawn points. So that one's got 1. Yeah, they've got 1, 2. They've got 3. So you could increase that. Yeah, so the vehicle UH1 helicopter has 1, 2, 3 possible spawn points, but the event only has 2. So you could force that up to 3. So that would always spawn. Also, if you go to spawnable types and look at the helicopter, you'll see they spawn without their bits. They need a battery, they need an igniter plug, and hydraulic hoses. Oh, they come with a headlamp. So you could change those to 1, so they always spawn in with the bits. I think you probably still have to fuel them, but that could be an option as well. But that's for another video. I think we've covered enough ground here. So apologies it's taken so long to do this video. For me, the critical thing that got me through this, and when I actually managed to do it, was installing the Community Online Tools and the Community Framework first, making sure I had that running before I installed the DayZ expansion. Right, well, hopefully this video has been useful. Hopefully it hasn't been too long-winded. If you've enjoyed it, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and I will see you again soon.